Hello and welcome to another Action Figure Adventures video. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at two figures from the G.I. Joe Collectors Club subscription version 3.0. We've got Repeater and Psych-Out. Both of these are characters from the late 80s in the vintage line of G.I. Joe, and now they've been recreated in the 25th anniversary style. We're going to take them out, look at the accessories, and see how they measure up. Alright, here's a closer look at these guys still in their package. We have Repeater, he's the Saw machine gunner, and over here we have Psych-Out, the Deceptive Warfare officer. Each of them have new card art based on the original, but updated to match the figures contained in the package more closely than the art on the original package, because there are some subtle differences between these figures and the vintage ones. Just like the rest of the Collectors Club figures, we have file cards at the bottom and the card art image reprinted at the top. Over on the side here, you can see that they are also numbered. Series 3 Figure 1, Series 3 Figure 2. Here we have Repeater and Psych-Out out of the package and all geared up for battle. Repeater's got his machine gun. He has a backpack. He came with a vest. He has a little knife down here and a gun over there in his holster. Psych-Out has a machine gun here. He has two attachable radar dishes on his arm. He has this radar dish device. The dish actually comes off of the main device. On his back he has a backpack that actually opens up, and there's a little pistol that I stuck in there because he doesn't have working holsters like Repeater does. Repeater's tan uniform has some brown digital camo on it, and he does have a cool little Rangers insignia up here. His gun has a cool little bipod here that can fold out. His backpack has the G.I. Joe logo from the movie, and it was a little hard to get the peg hole lined up through his vest. I did actually have to unhook his vest and then slide it through and then rehook his vest on the front. There's a little snap over here. So the vest was probably made for a different torso, and that's probably why it doesn't quite line up perfectly. Psych-Out's always been kind of a strange figure. I really like his armor piece that he has here. And of course his little headphone thing with the antenna is really cool. Always reminded me of Lobot a little bit from Star Wars. The security guard assistant guy Lando Calrissian had on the Cloud City. The backpack is a reuse of a Zartan backpack, and you know that opens up to hold his mask. This one opens up. There's not much room in there, but his little gun does fit in there if you want to stick it in there. I don't think the antenna pieces, the radar dishes, would fit, so it's really about the only thing you could choose to put in there. I do have a slight paint app issue with Psych-Out. He's got a little red spot there on his chin. Everything else seems really, really clean. You know, like his little symbol on his chest and all the stuff on Repeater. Real clean paint details. Even these little dots on his arms are nice and clean. Here's Repeater alongside his vintage figure. You can see they're very, very similar, although they did change things slightly. You know, the new Repeater has gloves on both hands. They, you know, reused some tooling. He got the knee pads now. And the gun's a little bit different. This Repeater came with, I think they called it a Steadicam gun. It's got like a little mount that attaches to his hip. So they changed that some. But, you know, they both are very, very similar in details. And Repeater was actually repainted as part of the Night Force set, which was a Toys R Us exclusive. This Repeater figure is actually based on a Night Force Repeater that the club released at last year's convention. And now this year they've released him in the subscription service as a regular version. And they tweaked his mold a little bit, but he's very similar. Just like Repeater back in the 80s, this figure was repainted as a Night Force figure, and the club originally released Psych-Out like this as a Night Force figure, and are now reissuing him in his original color scheme. The Night Force club figure came with red radar dishes, so they gave this version black radar dishes like the vintage Night Force one came with. A little confusing, but if you own both club versions, you can mix and match to make the accessories kind of match a little nicer. So you can see the goofy little dish box here that they've sort of recreated here. The backpacks don't quite match, but it works out alright. Here's Psych-Out's original backpack. I don't have Psych-Out's gun, or if I do, it wasn't with him. I've got some accessories packed away somewhere, so I might have it, but I couldn't find it. But, you know, neither gun that the new one came with looks exactly like it, but, you know, it's close enough. All in all, they're both pretty cool figures. I wish Repeater was maybe just a little bit shorter. He's really tall, and this angle doesn't even show it off as much. But he's a really big figure. They used like roadblock parts or something, and it's not bad, but I like my G.I. Joes all kind of being the same height like they were in the vintage line, with rare exceptions. Psych-Out, pretty good. I don't like this style gun. I hate it when they include that with G.I. Joe figures. The clip is actually behind the handle, and so it makes it really hard to have a figure hold it. But that's just a personal beef of mine, you know. Otherwise, really great set. Here we go back to back. You can see that he's way out of the frame, and there's headroom over here. This has been an Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.